and engaged. And even today's session also is expecting to add some more value additions to our academic as well professional practices. Today, we are very much privileged to have with us a great academician and researcher and expertise in innovative and teaching learning practices, as well AI in education. Before inviting our esteemed resource person to take over the session, I now request Mrs. Priyanka ma'am to kindly read out the profile of today's speaker. So, Dr. R. Sirisha madam, Professor of CSC, Geetham Deemuttubi University, Vishakhapatnam. So, Mrs. Priyanka ma'am, may I request you to please proceed?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Good evening, one and all. We are honored to introduce Dr. Shirisha Rodda is a professor of Department of CSC, Geetham deemed to be University. She has completed her BTech and PhD in CSC from Andhra University and MS in Computer Science from University of Oklahoma, USA. She has 22 years of teaching experience. She has 50 plus research publications in reputed journals and conferences. She has completed funded research projects and a consultancy project to the collective sum of 80 lakhs rupees. She has so far guided 7 research scholars towards her PhD in the area of machine learning. We are privileged to have our Shirisha ma'am as our resource person, whose insights and experience will greatly enrich today's session. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the opportunity.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Priyanka ma'am, for the detailed introductory about today's resource person. With this, I take a great privilege in inviting our resource person for today's session for day 4, R. Sirisha ma'am, Geetham University, to kindly take over the session, ma'am. Virtual stage is yours, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. First of all, thank you to the conveners, Dr. Naresh, Professor Swarupa, both of you, for letting me have a chance to talk to all of you. Good evening, everybody. The privilege is mine, actually, to have all of you for my audience. I know you all had a very long day at work and still made it enthusiastically to this FDP. I'm very honored to meet one and all of you. So, when I was speaking to the conveners, I came to know that there is a healthy mix of teachers and researchers amongst you, both early researchers as well as seasoned researchers in the audience. The topic given to me is to discuss about the publication aspect of your research manuscript. So the scope of my topic would be to good practices for preparing your research paper manuscript, as well as looking out for the right journal where we would like to publish our work. So this is going to be an interactive session, and I would suggest all of you to please give me your feedback from time to time. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot them at any point of time. So let me start off with the assumption that we already have a journal ready with manuscript ready with us, and we are trying to identify the right journal to which we should send. So let us look at the entire process that is available along with the different parameters that we must check to identify the right publisher for us. So if when we look at the overall process, so once you get the right idea, we move on to writing the manuscript. But the most confusion, if I may say so, or the effort goes into finding the right journal which may host our work. So that will be the focus of my talk today. Um, Followed up with the other mandatory topics such as peer review, the hassle of going through revisions of our manuscript and resubmitting again. In fact, lastly, getting through the acceptance phase. So these are some of the concepts that we have learned over time. 20 years ago, when I was very early to research, we were all in the dark. Some of the senior professors used to guide us. At that point of time, we didn't even know what is Scopus, we didn't know what is Web of Science. I'm so glad that your management and administration took the impetus to introduce you to all these important parameters. I mean, some of you might already know this, but the early researchers would like to know or would like to reinforce their existing ideas. So, why do we really need indexing? I mean, when I talk to really good researchers who have made it to the top 2% Stanford best researchers, then their fundamental question is, why do you bother with indexing? Um, but indexing is important. First is to validate our publication. When we publish our work in a well-reputed, respectable journal, it automatically gains the strategic advantage that our manuscript has cleared the high standards set out by the journal. The relevance, the prestige of the journal adds directly or indirectly to the prestige of our research article. So, submitting or getting our paper accepted, published in a journal of repute is of high importance. So, first of all, it highlights the quality of our paper. Also, sorry, the standard of the journal. Second is the bigger reach that is available with the journal. A very popular journal will have a wide range of researchers, many who are interested in your area of work. In such cases, a well-indexed journal publication may advance our career or our profession. Apart from that, a well-indexed journal publication will definitely boost the credibility of the researcher. In a society or professional society point of view, we will be recognized as better researchers. So essentially, I will be covering these four modules. Starting off with major indexing systems, Scopus, Web of Science, and sometimes UGC CARE. So we'll see which is what. When do we prefer journals which are, indexed in Scopus, when for Web of Science, and when specifically for UGC CARE. And the second topic is about how to verify the indexing that is already claimed by the journal web page. Third is to discuss about the different parameters that elevate the status of a journal. And the fourth system is about more normalized measures that identify the importance of the journal in the research sphere. So I suppose everyone is doing fine. Please let me know if you are feeling any difficulty or if it gets too boring.
No, ma'am, please continue, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, Baba. So Scopus indexing is one of the biggest databases that is available for research. So the Scopus database is maintained by Elsevier. The Elsevier is the publisher who maintains the Scopus database, who take it upon themselves to index all the journals, how they are doing, and they will stratify them into Q1, Q2, Q3, or Q4 journal lists and stuff. So it is the world's largest abstract and citation database. So just to look at the size of Scopus database, you can understand that close to 27 to 28,000 journals make it to the list. Not only journals, many conferences, editorials, and editorials, reviews, they all make it to Scopus too. I mean, Scopus does not only include journal articles, it also may include conference articles, newsletters, editorials that are written. So, as I mentioned, it contains journals, conference proceedings, books, and stuff. But Scopus is a more broader subject area which covers many disciplines actually. So it has been there in the market for quite some time and a very reputed database to start with. Then we have the Web of Science. A lot of people believe Web of Science is more prestigious when it comes to the exclusivity as compared to Scopus. But let me tell you that Web of Science is more specific to journal articles only, where Scopus has a broader reach, spanning journals, conference articles, books, editorials, and stuff. Web of Science database only restricts itself to journal articles. So Web of Science is maintained by Clarivate Analytics. Soon I will demonstrate how to look up journal articles both in Scopus, as well as Web of Science. So under Web of Science, we also have what is known as SCIE, for Science Citation Index Expanded Journals. So earlier people used to call them as SCI. Now we call that as SCIE is a more appropriate term to use. So all the natural science, medical, engineering, technology, AI related topics are all indexed under SCIE journal, Science Citation Index Expanded. All the social sciences related articles, journal articles are listed under SSCI, and ESCI are journals which specialize in latest technologies. So more evolving, emerging technologies, concerned articles, whichever journals are covering them are listed under ESCI. Over time, the ESCI journals where the topic has actually matured to a good progress, they will eventually be added to SCIE or SSCI depending on the situation. So earlier on, ESCI journals do not have journal impact factor. Later on, when they join their own group, whether that is SCIE or SSCI, they get their own impact factor. I will soon discuss about impact factor and other metrics. The third one is very specific to Indian database, UGC CARE journals, which is maintained by University Grants Commission of India. So here, journals which are very specific to be considered for academic/research purposes within the boundary of India are considered here. Then we have Group 1 journals, which are not covered by global databases like Scopus or Web of Science, but have their importance. Let us say some of the journal publications specialize in indigenous languages, let's say Telugu or Hindi, something concerning, literature. Then they will be listed under Group 1. And whatever Scopus and Web of Science journals there are, all those articles, all those journals are listed under Group 2. So that means Scopus or Web of Science, SCIE, SSCI. So Arts and Humanities is AHCI. ESCI is Extended SCI. So these are automatically included under Group 2. So whenever we target a good journal publication, I would suggest all of you to target Group 2. Scopus or Web of Science indexing, so that they all also make it to the UGC CARE list. So let me just stop the presentation here for now. And let me take you through how to look up the different databases, Scopus, Web of Science, and UGC Care. Just give me a second. Right. So when we are looking up Web of Science, I would like you to navigate to Clarivate Master Journal List, MJL. If you would like to verify live along with me, you may do that. So here we are going to get the list of all the journals which are listed under Web of Science. Here we have Science Citation Index expanded, which is very relevant to engineering and related fields, engineering and sciences. Then we have Social Sciences Citation Index, Arts and Humanities Citation Index, and Emerging Sources Citation Index. So you can plug and play whichever options you like. Among this, you can also select the particular area that you are looking forward to. Because I belong to CSA, obviously I'm going to select this. So after you identify the right journal, you may want to open the profile page of that journal and look it up. Sorry, I'm not logged in. This is a very slow page. I couldn't sign in today, so I'm not going to go ahead with this one. But this is how we identify if a journal is indexed in Web of Science. Suppose I'm actually looking for a journal, International Journal of Computer Science Engineering, let us say. So when I tried to Google it, I found very similar sounding journals on the way. So this is a clickbait. So I want everyone, before you go ahead and select a journal, first identify the ISSN of the journal and then re-verify from the Scopus and Web of Science whether it is actually listed in it or not. So let's say I have this journal. Okay, I have this journal, International Journal of Computer Science Engineering. Let me magnify this too. Okay, so generally when we verify from the journal page, we go to abstracting and indexing or an indexing page. So this says it is indexed by Google Scholar, Cyrus DOAG and stuff. Okay. So obviously it is not listed under Scopus or Web of Science. So I'm going to just look it up under Web of Science. So obviously I didn't find it under Web of Science because it's not listed under WS. I mean, even the journal does not claim for it, but sometimes there may be false claims made by the journal page. Maybe they were there under Scopus listing until 2025, but not 26 anymore. And they strategically forgot to mention that information to the visitors, then we will be on the loss side. So every time initially you look up the indexing from the journal, but definitely verify from the Web of Science or Scopus. I just have come across this. I just have randomly opened this journal page, Journal of Global Information Management. So I'm going to copy this journal and look it up under Web of Science again. It's a basic search. Okay. So, Journal of Global Information Management is a Web of Science Index journal. It is based out of USA and it is listed under Social Sciences Citation Index. So, although because I'm a CSE faculty, although the name looks very relevant to computer science and engineering, if I'm looking to publish only in journals which are specific to my area, then I should be preferring Science Citation Index Expanded, not Social Sciences Citation Index. On the other hand, if I were collaborating with, let us say, Faculty of Social Sciences or Business Management, it were a collaborative research, then it is all right for me to select this. So your goal for selecting a journal must not only go by the name of the journal, but the scope it specifies. So when you go to the journal, so here itself, they will specify the scope of the journal, the coverage of the journal. Please let me know if this font is too small for you. All right. So these are the topics that come under the scope of the journal JGIM. So right after we write the manuscript, if I determine that this JGIM journal is the perfect fit for my publication, I would first look at the scope of the journal and reorient my paper very slightly to match with the scope. If my journal does not fall under the given scope, I'm sorry, if my manuscript does not fall under the journal scope, then I better not submit to that journal. So what journals do is we will get initial review within the span of 2 days to a week. So whenever, however good my paper is, if my paper does not fall within the scope of the journal, it will automatically reject it. I'll get a message saying that, sorry, we are very sorry that your paper is rejected. It just doesn't fall within our scope. We cannot help you. So instead of wasting our time, first we should identify the journal where we want to publish in. So we start off looking at Scopus or Web of Science. Then we navigate to the journal, look at its scope, see if my paper fits in. If it does, I will reorient it very slightly to fall into this category. If it does not, I will steer clear of this journal. I will select a different journal that is more in sync with my work. So that is about Web of Science. Even if we look at, give me a second. If you would like to look up the Scopus listing, we have to search for SciMago journal rank. This is maintained by Elsevier, a subsidiary of Elsevier, Scopus. So here I'm going to search the name of the journal. So the journal, when I search for it, Journal of Global Information and Management, it is indeed listed here in Scopus. So that is not enough to verify that it is Scopus indexed. We click on it and look at further parameters. So this journal falls under the subject area of Business Management and Accounting, Computer Science, and Decision Sciences. Of course, Social Sciences too. So the SJR is close to 0.8 and it belongs to Q2, quartile 2 of the journals. I'll soon discuss about all of them. it has an H index of 50. That means at least 50 papers had citations of 50 or more. So this says something about the journal. It goes on to say that this is a respectable journal where I can consider submitting my work. So these are the ISSN. And this is a very, very important aspect you should verify. It is not enough for a journal to be listed under Scopus. Make sure that the current year is listed. Every year, the Scopus listing will be updated. Depending on the interest shown by the researchers, depending on the number of citations a journal gets, depending on the integrity a journal maintains, its Scopus listing will keep on varying. A Q4 journal may jump up to Q3 in the next year, and it can happen in the reverse too. Some Q4 journal will never make it to the next year. Also, that is a possibility too. So coverage years and that the current year is listed is of high importance. So this value is updated from time to time. So we will get information sending us to the journal web page. And here is more important information that is given over years. So as you can see, this information has been there way back in 2003. It is still going strong. And the values are updated every 2 years, 2003, 2005, 2007, and so on. So if you look up, then you can see that business and international management is a scope for JGIM, and that under business and international management topic in 2020, it is listed in quartile 3. Under the topic of computer science applications, in 2005, it is listed in quartile 2, the top 50% journals. Okay. So here you can see as a heat map to which level of journal it has reached, Q1 being the highest, Q4 being the least. All right. So you can still scroll down to find more metrics identifying how good the journal is. Here are similar journals you can consider. You can click on them and see. So just give a second, sorry. Okay, sorry. So here we have the SJR. This is a SciMago journal ranking and the importance of apparently the journal grew until 2008 and then it fell and then it is currently raising and doing better. From its lowest in 2017, it is doing good. The total number of documents have increased. External citations per document also have increased. So there is a positive growth in the journal. So that is giving me a lot of encouragement to submit my journal here. The amount of international collaboration, the diversity within the authors is better. And if you look at the total number of documents that are listed under this journal, many of them are getting cited as opposed to uncited documents. So this is a great metric for me to encourage to consider submitting to it. Percentage of female authors and others. The return on investment, total citations as opposed to self-citations. You know that in research community, self-citations are looked down upon. I mean, it may be essential. Maybe when you are publishing your paper, you would like to cite your previous paper where the current paper has a context of your previous paper that is represented as self-citation. It may be required, but it does not hold much value. So it is external citations that actually indicate the relevance of our journal with the current world, current research. So number of sites per document, many other parameters are there. Okay. How far the documents have contributed to the public policy. And finally, it says that the journal overall belongs to quartile 2 under the area business and international management. So if you want to go to specific areas, you will have to steer back to the heat map that I've given you. If anybody is interested in e-learning, you should actually look up e-learning only. So e-learning is listed under quartile 2. So that's about Scopus. So far we have looked at Web of Science and Scopus. Then we have another indexing which is very specific to India, maintained by UGC Care journals. You just have to search UGC Care and you will be directed to this website. This is all only a click away, so I'm not making it a big deal for anybody. Here also, as you can see, the scammers are identified here both for group 1 and group 2. There are two categories to UGC Care. Group 1, which are very indigenous and Indian journals. Group 2, which are already listed in external databases like Scopus and Web of Science. So these are journals which look very similar to our journals of index journals of interest, but are actually not. So you may want to look up this list before we select the journal. And when we do search for it, you can actually search for group 1 or group 2. If I'm looking for group 1 journals, I can look up based on the title, ISSN, publisher, subject, language of publication. Maybe I've given the search already. So let me log in and see. Here you go. So here are different journals that are already listed within group 1 specific to Telugu language. So there is a Bhava Veena, which is active from January 2020 to January 2023. So it's not in UGC Care anymore. So you'll get the list of all the group 1 journals automatically. And if you would like to look up the group 2 journals, obviously it's enough for us to look up the AHCI, SCIE, and SSCI index journals from Scopus and Web of Science. So any questions, I will be happy to take them in the meanwhile. If you do not have any questions, let me proceed with my presentation. If you have any questions, keep typing your queries over chat or feel free to pause my talk. Okay, this is what I was talking about. It's not enough for a journal to claim that they are indexed in Scopus or Web of Science or UGC Care. It is our responsibility to go to the right link, Web of Science or Scopus or UGC Care, to verify that it is there indeed in the list. Even after searching the list, you have to make sure that whatever Scopus or Web of Science index journal that is, you still have to verify that this year it is currently there in that database. So whenever we are doing that, make sure that the prestige of the journal is doing better. The number of citations are climbing every year, so that we are at least moderately sure that next year that journal will not be kicked out of Scopus, will not be kicked up out of Web of Science. So that is still a gamble, but I would suggest looking up, different parameters like, SJR and others, which I'll soon discuss. So don't trust the claims made on the journal's website. Always verify. So verify using Scopus and stuff. Okay, so go to the official sources, whether that is SciMago journal list or MJL Master Journal List of Web of Science or UGC Care. Make sure that the journal is there. And whenever we are looking up a journal, it is more preferable to look up the ISSN rather than the title of the journal. I have just shown you on Google search how different journals are having very similar names, similar sounding names also. So it's better to search by the ISSN rather than the name of the journal. And as I mentioned, check for the coverage years. Make sure that the current year is indexed, the journal is indexed in the current year. So that's what it says. If it's listed only till 22, don't try it in the next year. So this is about Web of Science. You will look up Master Journal List. Go to the Master Journal List website, which I just pasted. And then after free registration, you can check to which category of Web of Science, which indexing of Web of Science that journal belongs to, whether it comes with an impact factor, journal impact factor. I will soon discuss what are the different metrics that are given by Scopus vis-a-vis Web of Science. So in Web of Science also, some of the journals may be under re-evaluation. So they will be put on hold. At no point should we consider those journals for publication. So this is what I'm talking about. So although Scopus and Web of Science are used for indexing, they have their own ways of measuring the standard for a journal. So journal impact factor is actually a metric which is used to measure standard of a journal by Web of Science, whereas site score is used to measure the impact of a journal by Scopus database. So Web of Science measures the impact factor of the journal for a duration of 2 years. So every 2 years, the journal impact factor is assessed. For a period of 2 years, the journal impact factor is assessed and then it's released. The journals which are published, which are listed in Web of Science are supposed to be more prestigious than that in Scopus. However, there are journals which are listed both in Web of Science as well as Scopus. I'll soon discuss how there could be better journals in Scopus and not in Web of Science and vice versa. When it comes to site score is calculated once in 4 years. So it's a broader window, giving more benefit of doubt for a journal, observing it for a longer period. So here we look at stability of the journal in Scopus, whereas for Web of Science, we are looking at the impact the journal has made. Like I mentioned, Web of Science only refers to average citation to articles. Okay, so that means only journal articles. When it comes to site score, Scopus actually considers a wider set of articles ranging across journal articles, conference articles, then editorials, books, whatnot. So this has more types of documents. Scopus considers more types of documents, more diverse types of documents than Web of Science. So it's up to you to consider. So H index mentions that if a journal has an H index of some number H, some whole number H, then it means it has published H articles that each of them have received at least H citations. So the JGIM journal, which we just searched, had a H index of 50. That means at least 50 journal articles were there of JGIM that had 50 or more citations. Okay. So that is about only numbers when it comes to measuring the journal standard. Just give me a second if you. Any questions I can take in the meanwhile? Just give me 1 second to drink some water. Thank you. So, how many of you faced any difficulty with indexing, or did you have any um, um, issues with selecting the right journal? Would anyone like to add their experience at this point? Did you have any positive uh, experience looking up Scopus, or did anybody come across this fake um, indexing clone journals? So somebody is asking how to find clone journals. So generally, sir, Balmurli sir, the idea is to identify the journal of interest, look up the journal actually, look what is the indexing from the journal page first, whether it is indexed in the database of your choice or not. Then verify it in the actual database, whether that is Elsevier or Clarivate or UGCK, and then finalize it. Like I mentioned, it's a very good idea to search by ISSN and not by name of the journal. That is what I would do. So, okay, back to our discussion. So, so far we were relying only on the number of citation a document gets or number of citations a journal gets over a period of 2 years versus 4 years. Now, so that is basic counts. Sometimes we would like a normalized values also. So there are two normalized values that are provided by Scopus. First is SJR. If you remember, for JGIM, the SJR was 0.799, okay, and SNIP. So, so here, not only the citation count, here the journal will get extra points, a document will get extra points if it submits to a top journal in its area. So if you look at, sorry. Okay. If you look at the SCImago journal index, okay. So here we will actually weigh the citations of the journal, very similar to Google's PageRank. So when we give the search query in Google, Then not only the relevance, but the amount of visitors the web page gets. Okay, and the feedback also have a say in how, how much on top the search result will be. Similarly, here also, citation from a top tier journal counts for more. So, a top tier journal, a document from a top tier journal will get more weightage than a normal journal. Okay. So, not only are we worried about counts here we are considering the important significance of the journal in that research domain. Then, when it comes to SNIP, which translates to source normalized impact per paper. So here, the citations are weighed based on citations in a specific subject field. As you all know, a journal can actually span across multiple domains or multiple subject areas, and how much of weighted citations it gets as opposed to total number of citations. So percentage of citations, weighted citations with a specific subject field is identified under SNIP. So SNIP is more specific to a subject area, and SGR is more specific to the prestige or the significance of the journal, whether it's a top tier journal, a middle tier, or a not so important journal. So these two measures are also give an indication of how good that journal is, not just in terms of the citation it receives from other researchers. So not only the sites per document, you should also be considering SJR and SNIP. Coming to the competitive world of quartiles. Everyone is haunted. I keep getting nightmares because of these quartiles. So the difficulty of publishing increases as we climb up the quartile range. So a quartile is 25 percentile. So the lowest in the pyramid is quartile 4. So the least significant but indexed, if you consider Scopus indexing, if you consider Q4 index journals, only the Scopus index journals, which are there in the least 25 percentile, are listed under Q4. So these are new age, mostly new age journals dealing with emerging areas. And if they continue to doing well, if they continue to attracting more researchers, more citations in that area, then there is possibility for this journal to climb up. So early researchers can concentrate on Q4, but there is high chance for Q4 not making it to the next year. If it's a new journal which has very newly made it to Scopus indexing and it did not command enough attention from the research community, it did not get enough citations, the journal, then it may not make it to next year, okay, or the site score after 2 years. So for easy publication, Q4 may be preferred. Early researchers may prefer Q4, but seasoned researchers who have who have done solid experimentation and all the experimentation is giving good results may try for others. And Q3 is for specialized and emerging areas, usually for applied research, niche topics, emerging fields with moderate impact. So publishing in Q3 is quite safe when compared to publishing in Q4. We can pray that it stays under Scopus indexing for a long time. Whereas it's very good to submit our research paper to a quartile 2 indexed journal. That means it is under top 50% of the journals that are listed in the Scopus, let us say. So well-respected publications make it to the journal that have high impact, and the journal has high standards. It only accepts manuscripts that made a difference. But it's not so easy to publish in Q1 journal. There should be fundamental there should be fundamental contribution that is made to the society in that area of work, starting from the mathematical representation, the theoretical analysis, followed up with the results, experimental results that actually match the qualitative analysis and stuff. Only well-researched areas and with good results actually make it to quartile 1. So as early researchers, it's a good idea to climb up the ladder one by one rather than, initially aiming for, top quartile 1 journals. But if you ask for me, I'm more biased towards the scope of the journal rather than the quartile of the journal. In academic fields, in research circles, our research ability is measured heavily by the quartile of the journal that we are publishing in. I agree. But if you ask me, and there is a Q1 very Q1 journal which slightly overlaps with my research publication. And if I get another Q3 journal, which is very, very specific, very spot on for my manuscript, then I would prefer Q3. I mean, that is me. Many of the researchers will actually agree with me. So identifying the journal that has high overlap with our area of research gets more eyeballs than publishing in a journal of high standards. But that is my bias. I would actually leave it to you to decide. So all in all, this is what we discussed. We have seen what is Web of Science indexing, what is Scopus indexing, also about UGC care. We discussed how journal impact factor and site score can be used to identify the right journal for us. Also, not relying alone on the citations, but the importance of the domain is considered under normalized metrics. So SCImago journal, SCImago SJR actually identifies a better rate of SJR actually gives those journals published, those journals which are having high impact and high prestige and as well as high citations. Whereas SNIP ranks higher where the percentage of citations, weighted citations, specific to a subject area are concerned. So if you are confused, if you are considering the quality of the journal, the standard of the journal, SJR could be a good bet to measure that. If you are looking for overlap, a person like me, if you are looking for the content overlap of my journal with respect to a domain area, SNIP may be a good choice. Finally, we discussed about quartiles Q1 to Q4. Early researchers can definitely target Q4, but over time, please target Q1 to Q3 so we will be in safe zone. There is less chance of that journal being kicked out of Scopus and we losing, the advantage. Okay, so just summing it all up, I don't want to repeat myself. I've done that enough. So if there are any questions at this point, I have finished the first leg of discussion. If any questions are there, please feel free to speak up or you can push your questions to chat window. I'll be able to help you. Thank you. I think I've given few talks before, but I did not see such active faculty who still make it to the FDP after a long day at work. Thank you everyone for your attention. So let me move on to another topic. You can see many senior researchers are there in the audience. This is not really about you. I'm sure you know this already. But this is more for the early researchers who are trying to write good quality research paper. Okay, here is another question. Would like to know why certain journals listed as Scopus indexed on websites are not reflected in authors' Scopus profiles. Sure, sir. Okay, just give me a second. I'm trying to understand. You can clarify yourself. I'm trying to understand what it means. So if you look at the JGIM website that I just demonstrated, I searched before you. JGIM actually, let me go back. Okay, sorry. So here's the Journal of Global Information Management. So I have published with this journal once. So I was looking up whether they would actually put up their indexing anywhere. Okay, here is the indexing. Let's see what it says. All right. So the indexing clearly says Web of Science, Scopus and stuff. Sometimes it may be misleading. Whatever information given in the journal's webpage should not be considered at face value. We should do the second important test on Scopus and Web of Science as it is. But I think the question is about why the individual authors do not specify whether it is Scopus indexed or not, but I cannot say. So good practice to put up the indexing of every publication. But I leave it to how each of the researchers design their CVs. If that's your question, sir, I think I answered it. Otherwise, you can post more. All right, let's proceed with the second leg of discussion. That is how to submit in, how to make high impact manuscripts. Now, this is not a quick disclaimer. This is not in sync with the AI tools. I will be discussing very little of AI tools here. I am the old school researcher who believes that AI tools are there to help us to reduce our effort, not to replace us. So this reminder, a second leg of the presentation is made based on that belief. And if any of you disagree with me, please feel free to. That's a different opinion. Okay. So I made this on Notebook LM. I was told that Notebook LM is already covered in the last talk. So I'm not bothering going over that AI tool. This PPT, I made it through Notebook LM. So yeah. So the general workflow of any manuscript is this. We start off with a problem. Not always. We start off with a problem that we would like to address, or with a new novel idea that we would like to parade as a publication. Then, so during problem formulation, you choose the topic and define the research question. This is usually the step one, not always. Sometimes we start off with literature review. In literature review, we identify a domain, so or a topic. Based on the topic, you will actually gather all the manuscripts, existing works that are done in this area. So this only don't have, I mean, whatever existing works we gather, they can be journal articles, they can be conference articles, they could be patents too. Okay, so the gap analysis must be done to see what all work is done, what is yet to be addressed, and why that gap is important to be addressed. So that is literature review. Sometimes literature review would be followed by problem formulation. So once that is done, the outline of the paper or even the thesis may be done. So why that problem is important and the story around the problem in terms of motivation has to be told at this point. Whether that is paper or thesis, why we are doing it, why the problem is important to be solved. must be clearly established during the paper. So once the foundations are set in phase 1, we proceed to the actual writing phase, phase 2. So here in the introduction, we establish the context. That means for a novice who is reading our paper, we set the context. Okay. So we start from, the first slide. You say, okay, this problem is important because so far all this is done. And this is what we would like to address in our paper. So introduction is something that will guide a novice reader to be more interested in your work. Generally, some people actually write abstract in the initial stages. But for the early researchers, I would suggest the abstract to be written after the entire paper or manuscript is prepared. So once that is done, the methodology has to be prepared, especially concerning the overall workflow or the architecture that is present for your paper. So information like what are the experimental setup that we have considered, what are the default parameters that we have considered, what are the algorithms or standards / systems we have considered for comparison. All these things must be represented in the methodology. No results will be reported in this section. Then we have the results section, which actually presents the results in a quantifiable manner. So in a quantitative manner, we will present the results as we get them. So we present the findings very objectively. We do not make any judgments at this point. We present the results as they are in the form of, graphs and tables generally. So after results are presented, analysis of results is done in a qualitative manner under discussion. Results present the information in a quantitative manner, whereas discussion analyzes those results in a qualitative manner. So you got the results all right, but what do those results mean? So here is when we would actually tie the ends together. We will discuss why we got positive results for the methodology, and for the negative results we got, where must it have gone wrong. At this point itself, we will establish the advantages or some gaps that are possible with our methodology, some issues which are not handled by our methodology. Any assumptions we make will be represented here. The scope of the work is clearly represented under discussion. So once all the results and discussion are presented clearly, we sum it up with citations. So these citations are those existing works of importance, relevant works that are actually cited within the literature review section. So here it is very important to identify citations that are from high quality journals. And that is why my discussion about Scopus / Web of Science indexing becomes very relevant here. When we select high quality journal publications, the methodology is very clear. The methodology is stated in such a way that we can reproduce it for our work. Suppose there is a very novel idea for decision trees which is implemented in a very good journal paper. You should be able to reproduce the same work for comparison analysis of your own method. So always source your citations from good journals / conferences. That is my suggestion for you. Finally, when we conclude, we summarize the results. No new information will be provided at this stage. So only when the entire paper is done, I would suggest you to identify the apt title and the abstract. Now, an abstract is a summary or it's a précis of the entire paper So it starts off, it should be very eyeball catching. Okay. So when somebody goes through the abstract, you should write the abstract so convincingly, like a bestseller novel that people are forced, to go through the entire paper. So an abstract must be very, very convincing. It should be made like a selling point for the paper and should be a summary of the overall work. So what the paper is about, what has it attempted to do, how were the results, and what were the contributions make up the contents of the abstract. Usually abstract is written last of all. Once that's done, we revise it and ask our friends to revise, friends slash colleagues to revise for you. So let's quickly see how it's done. I'm sure most of you know this. If I'm boring you, do let me know. So whenever we are taking the help of AI tools, we should be very careful about the hallucination issues with LLMs and GPTs. I'm sure many of you are, from CS domain and related domains. You will agree with me. It's not that the LLMs or GPTs would like to lie to us. It's just that the GPTs are designed to predict the next sentence or the next logical idea after the current idea. So when it does not do it, it uses the existing data to predict something. So whenever you are getting information from an AI tool, let us say, to write an entire paper or to collect relevant citations or sources or to write literature review for us or identify the gaps within the literature, then we must be very careful. There is a situation where non-existing publications are somehow given a DOI and included within literature search. It is not the idea of GPTs to lie, but it happens. That is hallucination for you. So that is why I suggest everyone, I'm sure most of you know about AI tools and you have learned quite some new over the first 3 days of this FDP, but be very wary. Whenever you are taking the help of AI tools, I took help of Notebook LM here to make my PPT to set the context for this FTP. But still, re-verify your sources. If there is a paper which is identified to be of relevance to your work, verify that paper exists. Look up the digital object identifier, whether it actually exists or not. So this is a pitfall most of the earlier researchers fall into, using AI tools, blindly. Okay. So if you really want to use AI tools, don't go with general chatbots like ChatGPT, Perplexity. Actually, use something like Notebook LM, which is a free tool uh, provided by Google. People who are really concerned for their privacy can install local LLMs like Open Notebook, Hyper Notebook LM, where Google's Notebook LM is restricted to just Google's GPTs. The others have a wider range of GPTs to source their data from. So you can try to install Open Notebook or Hyper Notebook LM. I put it over in the chat. But they have to be installed separately. Maybe you'll have to use a Docker and install it. Okay. So it's always good to use a custom LLM. If you're concerned for privacy, install a local LLM that does not share your data across. So because you already know Notebook LM, not going into it. Generally, what we do is we add all the sources or we give the prompt that I'm looking for all the relevant papers in the area of oral cancer. And, Notebook LM brings all these sources for us. There are two modes actually. You can do fast research, or you can do deep research to, go beyond basic spidering and get more relevant topics. But deep research is time consuming. Fast research will give you faster sources. Choice is up to you. So once that is done, summary of all these sources given in the left side of the pane is provided. Then we will be able to look at the chat option. And in the chat, we can give more prompts to actually streamline our area of research and get to the points we are interested in. Most of the cases, you are given the references. You can see 1, 2, 4 and all, to the links to the actual pages. Verify those pages exist. In that scenario, I found Notebook LM to be a better alternative than ChatGPT or Perplexity. These, references were more real, very less hallucination so far. So I would prefer Notebook LM. Also, while generating, figures or system architectures, prefer Notebook LM and not, Google's, not ChatGPT, because those general purpose GPTs actually generate the image based on existing images, and there is high chance of getting spelling mistakes. That's a very big pitfall if you are using general GPTs like ChatGPT or Perplexity. Go for specific ones like Notebook LM to get auto-generated system architectures or posters with no too less spelling mistakes. Okay, so here also you can give argument to identify the gaps, or you can structure your work to look in this format. Okay, and there's a lot you can do with AI tools. Again, I'm so sorry for the disturbance. Again, please use AI tools as your assistant and not your boss. Okay, so AI tools may be used to get new ideas, explore with different viewpoints of your idea, how, different angles of thought mean. So summarizing your sources, what these are centered about, if you don't want to waste much time into literature review. Then, checking for grammar or how to rephrase your sentences. Okay. Again, formatting citations, whether you want APA format, MLA format, or whatever, but with proper verification, human verification. But please do not use it to generate an overall paper. It is possible to generate an overall paper with any kind of GPT. Don't do that. As an academician and researcher, writing must come primary to us. Over time, this is my advice to all the people who are younger to me and are just starting off their research. Make the writing as your primary work, just as teaching is, just as research is. Make writing your primary purpose. It doesn't have to be hi-fi, doesn't have to have a lot of flair and complicated sentences, but clarity of thought is important, which will improve with practice only. Use AI tools for assistance. Don't rely on it. Don't first generate paper and then paraphrase it, humanize the text. Don't do all of that. I know there are there, but I chose not to discuss about them because we are not learning in the purpose. Okay. So fabricating data. So these are some ethical concerns. Fabricating data, citations, especially citing my work, citing my friend's work, just as to increase our citations. All that must be discouraged. Okay. Also, mixing up the experimental results is also not a good practice in long run. We as researchers will lose the respect in our community. The more you work, I'm sure many of you seasoned researchers will agree, more you work, the more network we make on our area, the circle becomes smaller, And the better you provide the results, there is more trust on you as a researcher. A very big burning topic is that of retractions. So even if one paper is retracted from our overall database, people start looking at us as, dishonest researchers. Even one retraction is enough actually to paint our faces black. So be very, very careful. Define your experimental results as you get them with proper analysis. It is okay to report negative results, but why? So that negative results will pave way to the next publication that will come up with, better solution. So I'm sorry, I'm just going on, but I'm only talking from experience of myself and my colleagues. Few of my colleagues who have biggies who have suffered due to retraction. So early researchers uh, know how to write, take help from AI tools, don't depend on AI tools. So quickly summing it up, introduction is about what the problem is, everything that you have to say to the reader before they hit the methodology. They have to understand, if they have to understand whatever you did, so they have to go through introduction, everything else goes there. So methodology, how exactly did you solve the problem? Results, what did you find? Only quantitative results in the form of graphs and uh, tables. Here also, if there are any negative results, honestly report them. In the next discussion, you will analyze qualitatively what the results are about. Okay. I'm sure many of you know this, but I thought I'll just very quickly cover this. Okay. So I don't want to go over this. Most of you know this. You're using LLM. These are some possible prompts you can give to get a proper idea, write up for your thesis or paper. And while presenting the results, you would either use a bar chart or there are different kinds of chart to present your results. But discussion will actually have to connect the dots between your previous work, the work of your colleagues, people before us, the existing work, what they did, what they didn't, what you did that is not already there. Everything has to be connected. Context must be established. Future directions must be identified. Okay, so all that goes into discussion. When it comes to citations, identify citations that matter, not the citations of myself, not the citations of my friend circle, because they asked me to. And in conclusion, you reiterate, whatever you said over the paper, you summarize the main points, explain the broader significance of your work, introduce no new information at this point. Finally, identify the title. The title must be very catchy. The abstract must be the reason people come to read our entire paper. That's how you do it. So how to use Notebook LM to do that once the paper is ready is also given here. I request the organizers to later share it with the audience. So this is a continuous process. We actually revise the paper, then seek feedback from colleagues, and then refine the paper. And this is a whole circle until we are done. A good idea, if you're using Notebook LM, is to upload our paper and ask the LM to make an audio transcript of the paper and then play it out for us. So when we are listening to the paper, whatever we have missed out, we may actually find it in hearing. If our eyes have missed it, our ears will definitely not miss. So that is multimodal verification, I would say. So only repeating myself, make writing your primary skill. So what you can say in less, say it in less. Be concise. Simplicity is the key. Use simple phrases. And whatever it is, paper writing is a storytelling skill, and we perfect it over years. We do not get it on day one. Over time, we can make a convincing story for people to come believe in us and base their work on our original paper. That will be the greatest gift anybody can give me. If my paper is cited across, if somebody else is basing their work on my research paper, that's the ultimate gift we all like as researchers. So that is all from my side. You all have been great listeners. Thank you. I'm very thankful to everybody. And if you have any questions, please put them on chat right now. I'll be happy to discuss with you. And if you have any more points that I may have missed during the talk also, please. I know that there are good researchers among you, experienced researchers too. So I would like to hear your thoughts as well. Please respond. You can talk or you can post over. Okay, sir. I got your question. So your paper is published in Scopus Index Journal, but not showing under my Scopus author profile. So there you will have to write to the Scopus, sir. So they will do that. Miscellaneous things like merging multiple Scopus accounts, our Scopus publication not showing in our profile, all that must be written to Scopus, sir. Open to any questions, suggestions, please. I have some questions. Can I ask you?
Hello.
Yes, sir. Venugopal, sir.
Yeah, let me take a chance to ask you first, madam. Then you'll ask. Very nice session, madam. Thank you very much. There are a lot of things have been learned by us, especially. And one thing I would like to know once again, why did you not recommend ChatGPT for the research? Because most of the, truth to be said, that most of the researchers, even not an early researchers or even seasoned researchers also, right, taking pro and like something like sponsorship, and they are completely dependent on ChatGPT or Perplexity. Can you please specify the reasons why we are not supposed to be dependent on these things?
Good question, sir. You have actually identified one partiality of mine, which has no proper foundation. So somehow over time, I started to use ChatGPT and I did not like it over time. Uh, it's because when I try to generate some text, especially I don't use ChatGPT to write an entire paper, although it's a possibility. I tried to generate a text to analyze a collection of sources. Then I thought that whatever summary is generated, that write-up is similar every time. Whenever I repeat the task for different topics, the kind of summary I get is quite repetitive. That is one. And most of the chat GPT generated summaries are showing up in plagiarism tools like Turnitin. Turnitin now has AI option also. Although AI
Yes.
overlap cannot be considered legally for acceptance or rejection, but still people, the reviewers will form an idea about our, standards, our ethical considerations and all that. So I don't side with ChatGPT because there are some terms which are used very typically, very easily, which us humans don't use. Okay. So we use very colloquial kind of terms when we write a paper even. But when we use ChatGPT, it's going to be, hi-fi terms, which are usually
Okay.
flagged by reviewers. So I don't prefer ChatGPT per se, sir, but everyone.
Yeah, yeah, actually, what I would like to know, and whenever you recommend other than ChatGPT and Perplexity and all these things which are being commonly used by all, and don't you feel the same kind of the problems are faced by them? Because AI plagiarism is there everywhere. It is not only what call related with ChatGPT.
Agree on
So
that.
it's all any. And the second one, when it comes to language, right? As like I have my own language and you have your own language. Like that, Perplexity has its own language. ChatGPT has its own language. as well as notebook. That's what you really prefer. And I really appreciate one aspect, especially as far as the language, which I experience from ChatGPT is really somewhat dramatic. In fact, our research flavor is really losing it. Right, as I write on my own, I can really identify it. Right, madam. Thank you. I got your point, especially.
Thank you very much, sir. Whatever
And
points I've missed, thank you for
no,
actually putting it in a different direction.
I'll have to shift it to notebook now. Thank you.
Not really notebook, sir. It also comes with its problems. I
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah. There
I'm
are,
more
yeah, yeah,
biased
yeah.
towards notebook LM, but
No, no, no,
to
not
everyone
that.
their own.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, madam.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir. Vishnumurthy, sir. I can hear you, sir.
Good evening, madam.
Good evening, sir.
Nice session. So we understood, but most of us are asking one question to how to identify the originality of the journal are cloned. Most of the faculty we are paid and lost the money. Many of them. So somebody might be told and might not be, because of it is a dilemma. So could you please suggest how to identify the originality of the journal or cloned? So similarity of the journal, as you said, is 100%. But how to identify the ISSN number? So if I don't know the journal, how to identify the ISSN number also? You suggested us to check with the ISSN number, but not with the journal name. Correct. But how to identify the ISSN number also a question. And most of us are facing this problem, madam. Especially many of the faculty lost the money also. One of the faculty lost 35,000 rupees. I don't want to name them. We know that. So could you please throw some light on this so that it will be get benefit to all of us, please?
True, sir. I agree with that too. I know a few colleagues too. Um, so when we are identifying journals, first we have to identify our goal. So far, let us say I only have Q2 journals and I really want to make it big. And this year for 2026, I think, okay, I'm going to submit for a Q1 journal this time. So that should be my goal of search. If it is the area of research that you are looking for, maybe here on the left pane, you can choose the area and then zero in on the right journal. So let's say I have identified JGIM here. Sorry, this is taking quite some time, so I'm not logged in. So when you go to the Scopus indexing, there the actual information of the journal is provided. So after we identify the right journal by working on the filtering, then we can identify the correct link from the indexing itself. So a lot of times the journals are reaching out through emails. This is just like a clickbait, non-technology users fall to, even us educated researchers fall to this. I could too. So it's a good way to start from the indexing databases like Web of Science or Scopus. From there, you navigate to the journal that is there. You can filter down the journals of interest and then open the journal web page from there, sir. Don't trust the emails that anybody gets. You can use them, but start your work from the indexing databases, Scopus or Web of Science. I hope you agree with me, Vishnumurthy, sir.
Yeah, I agree with them, but still a dilemma in this same essay journals. If you ask the list, the same journal will come if this Scopus indexed. We are in dilemma now whether it is indexed or not. Sometimes at the beginning they told that the indexed, after paying the money, and then not indexed. So that also we lost.
That's right. That's so true, sir. I
Yeah.
know. I mean, I have a scholar who has published in Q4. I mean, it's a closed close discussion, so I'm opening up. I'm a scholar who has paid like this 35,000 only, and
Yes,
after
sir.
a while that Q4 has gone out of Scopus. So they had to make another publication until they had to appear for their pre-talk. So initial research can start off from Q4 or validate their initial findings with conferences. But later on, as the work matures, as we get more and more results that reinforce that our idea, I would suggest the researchers to handle higher levels, higher quartiles in the journals. So those journals have been there in the business for a very long time. They're still going strong. They still have great number of citations. Lot of users come to them to verify and to start their work based on their journal publication articles. So targeting higher quartile journals must be a better idea, I think so. But in spite of that, there is still some chance for cheating. We should be just careful. I don't know what else to say.
Thank you, madam. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
But
sir.
we are still we are more doubts because we are from MBA department. Management journals again still a problem for us. Then so continuously, Venugopal sir just now spoke to you. Then same problem we are facing
Okay,
in
they
our
are
management.
fluctuating a lot.
Yes, fluctuating a lot, and many journals are coming. Then so which to believe, which not to believe, is a question mark. That's why.
That
Thank you very much,
question
madam. So.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for
Thank
your
you so much.
insight.
Thank you so much, madam, for your nice session.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Any other questions? And if anybody would like to reach out to me, I'll be happy to help. If you are a new researcher, or reach out to some senior professor in your area. All the best. Thank you everyone for your time. I feel greatly honored to be part of this FDP. Wishing you all the best. Thank you to the conveners. Thank you, Professor Swarupa ma'am. Over to you.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, one and all.
I hope so. If you want to interact anyone with Sirisha ma'am, you can. Otherwise, we'll conclude the session. Sir, Dr. Naresh, sir.
Conclude the session, madam.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
If the clarification, they will email to madam. Anyway, madam already mentioned the email.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, on behalf of the organizing committee, I sincerely express our heartfelt thanks to our today's resource person, Dr. R. Sirisha ma'am, Geetham University, for delivering such a wonderful lecture and highly engaging session for today. Ma'am, your clarity of explanation, structured presentation regarding the research about in this FDP is truly enriching for all kinds of participants. And thank you very much, ma'am. Out of your busy schedule today, you have accepted to deliver such a wonderful lecture. I also extend my sincere thanks to our ITHA management, director sir, principal sir, and all other participants for their constant engagement and support, and for their dedicated efforts, to all the faculty participants for sparing their valuable time after regular classworks and actively participating in today's deliberations. With this, we successfully concluded day 4 of faculty development program. And all of you, please fill the feedback links. And thank you all. Have a pleasant evening. Madam, thank you very much, ma'am, once again.
Thanks to you, ma'am, for the opportunity. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Thank you
madam.
so
Thank
much.
you very much, madam.
Participants, before you're leaving, kindly submit the feedback form. Sir, shall we leave, sir?
Yeah, madam, we can leave, madam.